Hello, everyone. I am Dawn Benninghove with the Home Care Companion. I am your host for today, and today we are lucky enough to have Mary Jackson with us. Now, I've known Mary a long time, but Mary, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Indeed, indeed. Mary, you came to Companion Extraordinaire what year?
Oh my gosh. It's been 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Oh, Mary, that's a broad spectrum.
I know. I can't remember.
You've been with Companion for 8 years, so it's been a great time together. And when you first came, talk about the job you held when you first came to Companion.
Oh gosh. I mostly did reception. And then soon after that, I started learning some other aspects in the office.
And especially medical records.
Yes, medical records. And started learning the process of the different forms and how to get them filled out, what to have the caregivers turn in for different situations, and how to file them correctly.
Indeed. And we've gone paperless for the most part now. The aides clock in and out using an app on their phone, and they answer questions on their phone. So it's pretty much all paperless. But Mary, I remember at the height of paper, when we were doing 24/7 clients, so you had 3 shifts a day sometimes, and I remember seeing that big, huge medical record filing cabinet that we had to purchase, like the kind you see at the hospital, and you'd have to crank it and roll it from side to side. So how many charts, what do you think was the highest number of charts you ever had to take care of in medical records?
Oh gosh, it was over 100 and maybe 120, and it was just inches and inches thick of paperwork daily just coming in.
Indeed. And then we also had our skilled side, which is the nursing side. So that's a whole nother chart by itself. Those of us who do nurse visits for medicine boxes and wound care. And then in addition to that, you do all of the discharges. So once someone's discharged from Companion Extraordinaire, that creates another chart. And in fact, we just converted all of those charts and got them scanned in, so they became digital. How many of those charts did you have, Mary?
Oh my gosh, that's years and years of charts that, it was 40 to 60 banker's boxes full of charts.
Right. Yeah, so we had everything there since we opened in 2003, and you just did a great job organizing all of that and getting it to the company who scanned it all for us. But it's just such a different age than when we started out together with Companion Extraordinaire. And to see that paper go from, as you said, inches and inches and inches of paper to now where we sometimes hardly fill a little notebook, much less a big, huge notebook of information. So what's interesting, I think, Mary, too, is that not only have you helped in the office, but several years ago, you took the personal care aid course through Companion Extraordinaire and started caring for clients in their homes. And they just love you. You are just such a friendly, open person, and everyone always has such a good time with you. So what made you want to take the personal care aid course?
Just to be helpful, and clients I have right now, they're just so sweet and so nice, and it's just a joy to be with them.
And they talk about how indispensable you are right now. You've got a sweet couple that you're with. And but in addition to that, you run out, and if somebody needs to be taken, another client needs to be taken to the doctor, you'll run and do that, or a shift needs to be covered. You've done bath visits. So you've really immersed yourself, if you will, into Companion. And so what drew you to healthcare and coming into Companion Extraordinaire?
Well, I had the best mother-in-law in the world, and she had Alzheimer's, and my husband and I were part of her caregiving team, and I would have traded that time for anything in the world. And so that was, I guess, my first taste of it through that. And
we were very privileged because
Yes.
Companion Extraordinaire helped with your mother-in-law.
well, because that was the only company that we were going to call. And the main care provider for my mother-in-law was Carmine, and we've just remained dear friends. We still see each other semi-regularly, my husband and I both. And she became family to us, and we've just kept that friendship going.
And Carmine is such a wonderful person. I
She's
saw
sweet.
her a few weeks ago and we talked, and she's just such a bubbly, energetic, just so wonderful for your mother-in-law.
Sweet as can be.
Absolutely. Now, you also had Erica, who helped out at the time, and Erica was a brand new certified nursing assistant when your mother-in-law needed care. And Erica has now become a registered nurse. She's gone on and is working at Memorial Regional Medical Center, and we're just so proud of her. Again, another opportunity at Companion for someone to continue their education and just make us so proud. And of course, we're so proud of Carmine and Erica both. Just such an amazing opportunity. So we love having you as part of the team. We talk about your husband as well. He's a part of the team, kind of whether he wants to be or not. Randy is an incredible steel worker, and he has made some amazing things for us. Randy's a veteran, and veterans really have his heart. And he made this beautiful, well, you talk about it, Mary, the beautiful.
Oh, it's a beautiful flag banner honoring veterans. And yes, he was in the Army for quite a few years before we had met, and he has built ramps for veterans, and he's done quite a bit. He's actually helped with the wheelchair basketball and helped make some piece for the wheelchair to allow them to do that.
Oh, how interesting. Oh, I know that you all are very community minded and enjoy being able to give back to the community. I know that every year you all plan an outing and you go to a senior friend's home and you help around that house. That's your whole week's vacation, Mary. You're just, you give and you give. I mean, tell us a little bit about why you give and why that's important to you.
That's always been my nature. I mean, even when my children were young and I helped out with Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts too, but with Girl Scouts, that was a rule with my troop that you would do community service or please find another troop. It was expected of you to do the community service, and we were I've just always been that way.
And you're that way at the office. If somebody comes to the front door, like, let's talk about our postman.
Sure.
He's amazing, right?
Yes.
Tell me his first name.
His name is Lavelle. He is just very friendly, and a building next to us has a Mary, and our mail keeps getting mixed up before he came or when he has a substitute, and so we just started kidding about that, and it's just built from there. And then I found out that he had a baby due that's now getting ready to turn 2. So we put together a care package for the family with the baby coming. And we've, with the help of Amanda, we found out Postman Day and Postal Worker Day. And we put together a little gift for him for that. And it's just been a real friendly atmosphere.
Absolutely. And you just embody that. You try and make every single person feel welcome when they come through that door. That really is your mission. It doesn't matter if you're at our Ashland office. It doesn't matter if you're at the Lakeside office. You really want people to feel welcome and included, right?
I try to.
Yeah, that's really important to you. You and I've had those conversations. If you feel that someone is hurting, that gets to your heart, Mary. I've seen that.
It does.
Right? And why is that? Why is it so why is it so important for you to make sure that those who are hurting are well taken care of?
I guess that stems from childhood, just being bullied and picked on, and so I just try to make sure that others don't feel that way or feel included and
Yeah, firsthand.
not left out.
Yeah. how it feels to be left out. And so, and we see that. We see your heart. You know, the heartbeat is the logo at Companion Extraordinaire, and you just really represent that heartbeat well. And we love that. We love that, Mary. So I don't think there's anything that we ask you to do that you won't do. We over the years,
I try.
over the years, you've been so incredibly helpful. So when you talk to people about Companion Extraordinaire, because you're right, you answer the phone all the time, and you talk to someone who might be applying for a job, what do you say to them about Companion Extraordinaire? Why should they come?
It's like joining a family, and they are more caring than other employers and try to make sure all the caregivers are taken care of and meet their needs if they have, and not just the clients, but the care providers. And most companies look at just bottom dollar, trying to work on that, whereas this is more of a family atmosphere and trying to help others.
I've seen it, Mary, where one weekend a care provider had missed the last bus. She rode the bus to her client, and she had missed the last bus of the day because she was helping the client and finishing up. And you were just in tears. You wanted to make sure that she was safe and that we got her right and we got her to her home safely. And that's truly the heart of Companion Extraordinaire. It's who we are. What other kind of examples would you give?
Oh, we've had people with caregivers where they've been with auto problems, and we've helped them with that. They also provide assistance to help them get their car fixed with making small payments where they can't afford it. We've now have AAA assistance if needed. We had a care provider just the other day that had a flat tire, and AAA was sent out for them. And when they have death in the family, a lot of times that is an issue with other companies with getting time off of work to travel sometimes and to go to those funerals and take care of their family needs. And they've always been very accommodating for the caregivers to help the family with these needs.
And you truly feel this personally, Mary, because I've seen how upset when someone else is upset, you're upset.
Yes.
And that often makes us as individuals feel cared for and feel wanted and feel needed when someone else cares so much about you that they actually feel what you're feeling. And I do believe that about you, that you often feel what other people are feeling and are able to what we call minister to them in a way.
Sometimes maybe too much.
well, I know you enjoy interacting with the clients, and I don't think it's ever too much. But I know you enjoy interacting with the client and working with them. So, if a client was looking for care, what would you say? Because like you said, you've had your mother-in-law, but what would you say specifically to them? What do you say when they call?
Well, we've had family members that have called for help with their loved ones that might have Alzheimer's. So I do share a little bit about that so they know that we understand what they're going through and know that we can help because of that understanding. And it's not just the quote unquote cookie cutter situation where they just send all these different care providers out, and we try to keep it to a minimum so that way they can, with not remembering, they can get a little bit of familiarity with the care provider, and so it's not an issue with that. And I just try to let them know that we care about their situation and what their medical needs are, and just ask questions about it and give them time to explain and talk about it sometimes. Sometimes they just need to chat and get it off of them and tell somebody what's going on.
That's true. When somebody calls, they're usually in crisis or worried or just at their wits' end, if you will, because they've just expended all of the energy that they have with their loved one most of the time, or they're in the hospital and getting ready to be discharged and just do not know what to do. And you're always ready to lend that hand. So I know over the years you've primarily done reception, answering the phone, as well as medical records, but you recently have started working in care management. Now, we had Amanda Metz on one of our podcasts earlier, and she told us a little bit about care management. So what is it you're going to be doing in the care management realm?
Well, it's just a little extra special care in certain situations that need that extra attention. And it's special visits just to provide transportation to and from a doctor appointment that they need an extra set of ears to assist with that appointment. And we get all the information that we can from that appointment to provide to family and for their chart that maybe the care provider wouldn't know to gather, that we've had a little extra knowledge on that. We had one client that as her dementia increased, she was not able to care for her dog and she was not driving. And so that was a situation where she no longer was able to take her to grooming. So I actually provided the transportation for her dog to grooming and to the dog's medical appointments and would return her. And she was just so thankful that's all she had left was her dog. And so she was just so thankful that her dog was being taken care of.
And Mary, you're being quite modest because for 9 months, you took care of her dog, and you took the dog to, as you said, grooming, and but you also did something very special. Eventually, this client the family all agreed, did need to go into facility. And so when she went to a facility, you helped find someone to adopt her. And the dog is an older poodle, and sometimes that can be difficult for placement. So how did you do that?
Well, she just has a small family and they live out of state, so they were not able to really assist. And she was moving to a facility, and most facilities don't allow pets to come in, and hers did not. And so I reached out to different rescue groups, and they were not able to take her, mostly because of her age. And she really is in good shape for her age and just very loving and a sweet dog. So I then reaching out to a poodle organization. They got me to someone, and that didn't pan out, but I was given another name, and I just kept on and set up meet and greets with her dog and possible adoptees. And we reached out to care providers to see if any of our care providers would be able to take on a dog. And we did many meet and greets over time, and through word of mouth, I finally met someone who was sweet, and her dog and the adopted dog just became fast friends, and it's a very happy home, and they're getting along really well. And it was quite a few visits in that household to make sure that adoption would go through smoothly.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, you worked things out so beautifully that the adopter is actually taking the dog back to the facility when they can really coordinate a visit. And so the client, who now is in the facility, does get to see her precious poodle.
Yes.
Every so often. And you and I have both seen how incredible that is for her. She just lights up. Of course, she trained and poodles forever, and so that's a huge part of her life. But, you know, the old expression, a dog with a bone. That was you, Mary, trying to get all this done. And I've seen you cry more than once over how heartbroken you were when you thought that this particular dog might not get adopted. And
Yes, that was very upsetting because I was afraid she would be put to sleep, and I did not want that to happen.
None of
because
us
she
wanted
still
it.
had a lot of life left in her.
yeah, she's perky, isn't she? She
She
just
is.
jumps all
She
around
is.
and is sweet and loving.
Playing
And
with toys, and our company purchased quite a few items for her, and I provided some of my own, and I took over. So she had toys, she had a new bed, I took a crate over, dog bowls, leashes, harness,
you just wanted to make
a
sure the new
seatbelt for traveling.
right, make sure she's safe. You just wanted to make sure that the new adopter didn't have to put out a huge expense at the beginning.
Correct.
And know that we felt so heartfelt about what she was doing. And because we all loved this little dog as well, when we would go over to the client's house, that little dog would
She's
greet
a
us.
sweetie.
She is indeed. So Mary, we cannot thank you enough for what you do at Companion Extraordinaire, and that taking care of people's animals is such a special space for you. You really enjoy that so much, and we love and respect you for that, and thank you, so that it really does help make Companion Extraordinaire an all-around company, because we're able to care for those clients' pets as well, and that's important.
My client that I have now has a large dog that is having some training issues that we're working on, and so that's part of the package with the care management. So I help them with their dog as well as with my lady.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Mary, we thank you for being on today. We thank you for being a part of Companion Extraordinaire. And we thank all of our listeners today for joining us at the Home Care Companion, giving you tools for your toolbox and even your pets.